Hello. I hope everyone is doing well. We are living in some trying times right now. Some trying times. And right now, we're dealing with this COVID 19 coronavirus. A lot of people are on edge with good reason. With good reason. But I feel like a lot of us are allowing this to control us mentally. To control us mentally. And eventually, what controls the mental will take hold of the physical. And unknowingly, it can damage you spiritually. It can take you off of your spiritual path. Because when things like this befall us, we need to be stronger in our faith. We need to be stronger in our faith. We need to be stronger and more diligent in our prayers, so on and so forth. This is the time, this is a reminder for us, should serve as a reminder for us how powerful God is and how important it is to have a relationship with Him. Now, instead of living in fear, I believe that we all should be making a conscious effort to draw closer to Him. Closer, because this is a sign that we are indeed living in the last days. I try not to get or confuse my messages with being religious and go more on a spiritual. Let my standpoint be a spiritual standpoint. But it doesn't matter how you approach this situation, the reality stays the same. This world will not continue forever. There will be a day of reckoning. And we all must have a relationship. We all must have a relationship with God. Or else. We should not allow this to distance us in our spiritual. We should not allow this to distance us. A lot of people are afraid. A lot of people are walking around in fear. A lot of people are doing things driven by fear. Since this whole thing has taken place, for me, nothing has really changed. Nothing has really changed because I've always been conscious about hygiene and cleaning your hands and not coming in the house and walking with shoes and not lounging around in clothes that you're, outside in and doing, work in and so on and so forth. That's always been my mindset. To always keep little wipes because you never know what you're touching and germs. Always been conscious of that. So this for me is nothing new. To disinfect the surfaces of the house, nothing new. To wear gloves when I'm at work because I'm interacting with so many things and so many people and touching. And I am one who has a habit of putting my hand in my face. So to prevent me from putting my hand in my face and, my skin is sensitive, causing bumps and whatever to form on my face because of the dirt from my hands or the germs or whatever, I stay constantly with wipes. I stay constantly with hand sanitizer. I wear gloves when I'm at work and when I'm interacting and doing certain things. It's a precaution. It's a precaution. So for me, nothing has really changed that much because it's something that I would do on the norm. I understand the severity of this situation. I most certainly do. But I also understand my protection. And I'm not going to go outside of that. I'm not going to go outside of that. Now, I'm extra conscious about certain things now. Even more conscious about certain things. But I didn't have to do a whole lifestyle change around this situation. I did not. When I go out, and it's just me because my faith is bigger than that, I am a firm believer that if it's for me, there's nothing that I can do is going to come for me. Now, I'm not knocking anybody and how you are reacting to this situation, but I just want to bring some clarity and some understanding to you. I want you to be conscious about this. If it's for you, there's nothing you can do to stop it. Nothing. A mask won't stop it. Gloves won't stop it. Staying in the house won't stop it because you know why? Because it can penetrate. It can penetrate. If it's for you. If it's for you, God, He's awesome. He can do anything He want to do. There is nothing that He cannot do. Right? So I have no need for a mask. I don't be up in people's face anyway. I go from A to B and I'm back home doing what I do. That's just me. I don't hang out in large social gatherings, so I don't have to worry about that anyway. My group of friends are very, very small. So when I interact with them, I don't feel any kind of way. You know what I mean? We can't allow this thing to control us. To control us. Some of us just sit in front of the TV day in and day out and just listen to repeatedly the news about this thing. Yes, educate yourself, but don't overwhelm and consume yourself with it. Don't overwhelm and consume yourself with it, because then it becomes stuck in your mental, and that is what causes the panic. That is what causes the fear. That is what causes you to fall outside of your spiritual background and forget that God controls all of this. He controls all of this. He knew it was going to happen before it happened. He willed it. He allowed it to happen. For whatever reason, we cannot question Him or His reason. We just have to trust that even through this, the sun will shine. There is some good that will come out of this. Something. We don't know. We don't know. It's not our place to know. It certainly is not our place to know, but it's our place to trust Him, to have faith in Him, and to hold on to that, especially in these times, because what happens is it will break our faith. It will break the connection that we have with Him. When things are going well, we're always praising Him, giving thanks, and our faith is strong. But soon as things get a little bit what we consider out of hand, out of the norm, then we divert from that. We forget. We fall short. We don't want to fall into that. We don't want that to be the case. We want to draw near. We want to build and be stronger in it. It's very important that we do continue to wash your hands. I know there's many videos circulating about the proper way to wash your hands. The temperature of the water, lathering up, how long you're supposed to do it. There's a time frame in how long you're supposed to be lathering up your hands, so on and so forth. Follow those rules. Follow those instructions. Right? Follow those. Keep your social distances 6 feet, so on and so forth. Especially with strangers. Especially with strangers. More importantly, with strangers, because you don't know. You want to be smart about this thing, but at the same time, you don't want it to have you in fear. You don't want it to control everything, your comings and your goings. I still go out and go to work. Still go to work. It's a job, and I have to do it. There's a lot of us that would like to continue to be working, but just not in a position to do it. It's out of our control. Out of our control. But we have to keep on moving. Life goes on. Life goes on. I can't stop doing what I do because this thing exists. No. No, there's still life. Even after this, there will still be life. So I'm just going to put everything on hold because of this? No. And one thing we need to understand, that we are in a society and we are under a government that is corrupt. So for its own reasons, it's taking this thing to a whole nother level. And I'm not going to get into that. But just keep in mind that for its own reasons. And it has nothing to do with you nor I. Nothing to do with you nor I. The government has his own plan. Its own plan. And most times, believe me when I say this, it's not benefiting us as the people. Okay? So, they want you to be in a panic. They want you to just fall out and just let go, and they want you to do that. You have to be conscious enough to know that even in the midst of evil, that God is working the good. However he does that. However he does that. Right? So, I want us to be mindful of that. I don't want us to shut off everything and just let everything just drop and go and just live in this whole state of fear because of this COVID-19. We don't have to. There have been many illnesses, diseases, plagues, so on and so forth, that have come and affected the land. And yet we're still here. We're still here. Yes, we're going to have some casualties. Yes, some people, are going to pass and, get really, really sick and so on and so forth. We know that to be a fact. It happens. It happens. We just have to pray for them, pray for their families, and pray for the protection of us and our families. Right? But we can't be fearful of this thing. We cannot. Because most people understand that God has the last word. Now, what we should all be doing, instead of living in fear and trying to duck and dodge and, just being all scared, we need to start drawing near to him, understanding that we're running out of time. We're running out of time. Instead of sitting there biting your fingers and trying to figure out what's next, we need to be making the next by getting our lives right, by doing what we're supposed to do so that we can be living, get ourselves on a path of righteousness. So that when the day comes, when that final hour does approach, which it in fact will, we'll be in good standing. But we're wasting time twiddling our fingers, biting our nails, and trying to figure out what's next with this whole epidemic. Pandemic, whatever. We forget. We're losing ourselves in the spiritual realm. We're allowing everything that we do to be controlled by what we see and hear about this COVID-19. And we cannot continue to do that. Turn the TV off. You don't have to keep looking at the news. You know what it is. You know what it's doing. Take your precautions, building your faith, pray, draw closer to God, building your relationship with him, get yourself in the right standing, Therefore, you don't have to live in fear because you know that everything you're doing is in righteousness and you living on the right path and doing the right thing and you're making strides, right? To be one of the chosen, one of the ones that he finds favor in. doing this even after this. You cannot just keep sitting and just dwelling on negative, because it has a way of taking all the good from you and blinding you to the realities of good. Blinding you. And we don't want that. So we have to come up out of this situation that we are currently, some of us, if not most of us, are currently in. Yes, it's smart to stay home. It's smart to stay home. If you don't have to be out, why be out? Right? That's smart, because you never know. But at the same time, while you're there, you can't just be sitting in front of the TV all day listening to this, all day, day in and day out. We got to find constructive things to do. One young lady said that it's a lot of people now that they have time on their hand, realizing that they have a lot of talents, realizing that, there's more things to life. And she encouraged people to start looking into what your talents are. What are your strong points? What can you build on? A lot of us have a lot of business knowledge and great ideas. Maybe we need to come up with business plans, business proposals, and get some things out there so that we can change our current state of living. We need to use this time for positive reinforcement, positive reflection. We need to use this time wisely. And there's nothing wise about sitting there constantly thinking about and consuming yourself with a situation that you have no control over, nor can you change. But you do, in fact, have control over you, and you can change you and your circumstance. And all you have to do is put one foot in front of the other and make a conscious decision that you're going to step out of where you are today and move forward to something better, whatever that may be. Let's start doing some creative things. Let's start figuring out where our real talents lie. What assets do we have to bring to this world? What we can give back to this world? Wonderful things that we can do. And let's start putting together plans so that we can do that. You can't say you don't have time now. We have nothing but time now. That's the reality of it. Because sometimes we get so consumed with the routine of our lives, and trying to do and be there for other people, being pulled in multiple directions, we can't do what we need to do for self. Well, now is a prime time. Now is a great time. It's nothing but opportunity now. But you have to use your time wisely. Okay? So let's remember that let's take this thing serious as it is, but also let's not over exaggerate it like it's being done. It most certainly is being done. Okay? Be protected. Do what it requires for you to stay protected. But at the same time, don't let it consume you. Do not let it consume you, because it so easily can if you allow it to. If you allow it to. We have control. Let's exercise our control. And let's get more in tune with our faith and build in our spirituality, and allow this to bring us closer, and build a relationship for those who do not have one. Build a stronger relationship for those that do. And figure out what things we are good at so that we can start giving back to this world in positive ways while we still have time to do that. Because a lot of us, we go to work and work jobs, and we have all this talent, all these skills to be better, to do things, to have our own businesses. But we don't have enough time to invest in ourselves, because we're investing so much time into other people, their projects. Okay? So let's get back to self right now. All the way around the board. Mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, physically. All right? Let's get back to self right now while we have time to do that. We don't have nothing but time. Let's use it wisely. All right? MJK.